How's it going, guys, and welcome back to the lair. And today we're back in historic best of one. I call this one Thought Taker. But before we get into it, I just want to say if you're new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It's free to you and helps us out so much. Feel free to drop me a comment, talk about strategy, deck ideas, misplays. I read the comments daily. Lastly, if you have any friends or family that are into Magic, please share the channel with them. Also, if you're going to be a new follower or subscriber on either my Twitch or YouTube channels, once you've done so, just reach out to me in the chat of the comments. Say something like, hey, I just followed or subscribed, then I can respond to you with an in-game code that you can use in Arena to unlock a mystery gift from Wizards. So very excited to be able to offer that, and thank you guys so much for watching. Let's hop into this. So in the 1-drops, we have the full play set of Thoughtseize at sorcery speed. Target player reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and you lose 2 life. Onto the 2-drops, we're running 3 copies of Burglar Rat. When he enters the battlefield, each opponent discards a card, and he's a 1/1. We have 3 copies of Waste Not. This is an enchantment that says whenever an opponent discards a creature card, we create a 2/2 black zombie creature token. Whenever an opponent discards a land, we add 2 black mana, and then whenever an opponent discards a non-creature, non-land card, we draw a card. We have 3 copies of Consign Oblivion. The Consign side at instant speed, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand, and then we can later on cast it from our graveyard, and target opponent discards 2 cards. 3 copies of Thought Erasure at sorcery speed. Target opponent reveals their hand. You choose a non-land card from it. That player discards that card, and then we surveil 1. On to the 3-drops, we have 3 copies of As Foretold. It's an enchantment that says at the beginning of your upkeep, put a time counter on As Foretold, and then once each turn, you may pay 0 rather than pay the mana cost for a spell you cast with converted mana cost X or less, where X is the number of time counters on As Foretold. Running 3 copies of Plague Crafter. He's a 3/2, and when he enters the battlefield, each player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker, and each player who can't discards a card. Running 3 copies of Bontu's Last Reckoning at sorcery speed. Destroy all creatures. Lands you control don't untap during your next untap step. Running 1 copy of Nighthawk Scavenger. He's a 1+ star 3 with flying, death touch, and lifelink, and his power is equal to 1 plus the number of card types among cards in your opponent's graveyard. Onto the 4-drops, we have 2 copies of Mythos of Illuna at sorcery speed. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent, and if red or green, well, we won't be doing that. We're going to be creating a token that's a copy of target permanent either our opponent controls or we control. We're running 2 copies of Liliana, Waker of the Dead. She comes in at 4 loyalty, and her +1 ability is each player discards a card, and each opponent who can't loses 3 life. Her -3, target creature gets -X until the end of turn, where X is the number of cards in your graveyard. And then her -7, you get an emblem with at the beginning of combat on your turn, put target creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. And we have 3 copies of Hostage Taker. She's a 2/3, and when she enters the battlefield, exile another target creature or artifact until Hostage Taker leaves the battlefield. You may cast that card for as long as it remains exiled, and you may spend mana as though it were mana of any type to cast that spell. And then we have 3 copies of the Scarab God. He's a 5/5, and at the beginning of your upkeep, each opponent loses X life, and you scry X, where X is the number of zombies you control. And then we can activate his ability at any time and exile target creature card from a graveyard, create a token that's a copy of it, except it's a 4/4 black zombie. And when the Scarab God dies, return it to its owner's hand at the beginning of the next end step. So let's briefly talk about the mana base. We have 2 islands, 3 Castle Locktwain, the full 4 Swamp, 4 Murkwater, Clearwater Pathways, 4 Drowned Catacomb, 4 Watery Grave, and 3 Pelika Cavern or Pelika Predation. So in all, we have 24 lands with a 3.2 converted mana cost, running 13 creatures. So what this deck is about, obviously, is controlling the game with mainly discard-oriented spells and planeswalkers. We have the Thoughtseize, which can get rid of anything. Burglar Rat is a nice end, something that we can possibly bounce with Hostage Taker, or bring back with Liliana, or bring back with Scarab God. Waste Not is kind of like the glue that holds the whole idea or theme behind the deck together, and gives us a lot of value for the not only the opponent discarding something, but we're usually gaining an advantage is very, very important. 3 Consign to Oblivions, because once again it's an early spell that we can either use to bounce our own permanents back to our hand, like say we want to bounce a Hostage Taker or a Plague Crafter or something like that, or we can bounce other the opponent's permanents as well. So it's very, very useful down at the low end and using it at instant speed, and then the top end, the Oblivion, once it's in our discard, or even if it gets milled or whatever, then we can have it target opponent discard 2 cards, which is amazing. Works with this deck as well. As Foretold, I slotted in here because you want to be able to, or what you would like to be able to do in this deck, is play a Scarab God for free, or have so much mana. Sorry, I just had to switch my shoes. Had so much mana that you could play him and then activate his ability immediately. So what As Foretold does is each turn that it goes by, it gets a counter, and eventually gets to the point where we can play one of our spells for free and then have all of our lands untapped so that we can dump them into the Scarab God. The other thing is, this works extremely well with Bontu's Last Reckoning, obviously, because Bontu's Last Reckoning, we basically lose our lands for 2 turns. Well, I guess it's technically 1 turn, but that's technically 2 turns in best of 1 environment. So in order to counteract that, once again, As Foretold, if we get As Foretold out and it's got 3 clicks on it, and then we run into a Bontu's, we can play it and not worry about our lands not untapping, because we're not usually going to be casting more than 1 spell unless it's very, very, very late game. Other than that, like I said, it's just an amazing card that helps us just... And a lot of people don't realize we can use spells, even if we're tapped out, on their turn, like a Consign. I think that's the only thing we can flash in, right? But yeah, Consign, stuff like that. Or they'll see it, we're tapped out and forget about it, and then we can, do an Oblivion on them, which is really fun. But yeah, so that's the main thing. We have discard, mainly discard. Waste Not kind of revolves around all that. I have a one-off of Nighthawk Scavenger because we get extremely low in life, especially running 3 Castle Locktwains and some shock lands. And then, throw that in with an aggro deck and you're pretty low in life. So we have a lot of discard effects, so I figured I'd try him as a one-off to see if that could help kind of stabilize us late game. Plague Crafter is extra protection if we can't get through with the discard. And then once again, Bontu's helps deal with a large board state if we absolutely have to. We don't really care about destroying our own creatures because we can eventually bring them back. Hostage Taker in Historic has been amazing these last couple of weeks. So that's the inclusion in that. Being able to steal like a Great Henge or something, or Embercleave, or some of the other crazy like artifacts that are out right now, Godfarrow's Gift, is just insane for 4. And then having that 2/3 body, and then we can bounce it with Consign, or copy it with Mythos of Illuna, which is my next card I'm going to talk about. This card is absolutely insane. I originally had 3 copies in the deck, but I just wanted to balance it out a little bit. But this card is just so busted. You could copy lands, you could copy any of your permanents, any of their permanents, and then, yeah, just a great card. Helps us create an additional Plague Crafter, or Burglar Rat, or another Hostage Taker, whatever our needs are at that moment. Can also copy zombies, tokens, you name it. So, just an overall amazing card. Liliana, Waker of the Dead, synergizes with our discard ability, also helps us start getting some ping damage in. We'll usually have a couple cards in our graveyard, so the -3 is decent, but that -7 is also what we're aiming toward our end game as well. and combo that with the Scarab God. This card, what can I say? It's just an amazing card overall. It's just such a beast. And the only way that they can get rid of it is if they either counter it before it enters the battlefield, or if they exile it. So, not a lot of ways to get rid of this card. It's not easy to get rid of, and if it goes off, it starts just completely getting out of control. So yeah, that's basically the deck. We're going to be playing best of one today. Let's hop into it. Let's see how we do. Alright, so we got a nice 3-lander here. Got a Burglar Rat, a Plague Crafter, a Mythos, a Hostage Taker, I think keep. No 1-drop, so we'll go ahead and lead off with the land tapped. Red. Okay. So yeah, let's Burglar Rat, make him discard a card. There's no sense in blocking here because we can't block him. He has first strike. Right at the stage. It's exiled, so we can't hit those. Thought Erasure is nice. Attack. Any damage he does to Plague Crafter, he's not doing to my face, so that's my game plan there. Face. So. We got Mo'Rog, Jesus. Playing that anytime soon. 3. This land as operational as possible. Let's go. Let's go. Got him. That's what I like to see. I will say this. He does get extra points for playing the Mo'Rog. That card is I'm pretty sure every time I've seen it, unless it was cheated into play, it was never actually played, especially in a mono red. It's just such an expensive card for them. So he gets points for that. Popping another one here. Alright, so we got technically a 3-lander here. Yeah, I mean, it looks good. Yeah, we'll keep this. Montes is nice, so we'll go ahead and slow roll this. Okay, so I'm gonna put life gain deck. This is a tough one. Ajani's Pridemate. I think we take Heliod because he's indestructible. That was an artifact. This is going to be a tough one. Wait on the Plague Montes now. Buy us 2 turns at least. Okay, I'm just gonna have this under tap. No sense in playing it untapped. Both enchantments, unfortunately. Alright, he's gonna be drawing off the top. Now we draw our Thought Erasure, which feels bad. Let's play some Murkwater. God here. Okay, let's take this to Johnny's Pridemate. Swinging 5. Off the top, perfect. I think he's coming in with our... Yeah? Just going for the life gain, the card draw. That's fine. this nothing anymore. We'll put that in the bottom. What do I want to do here? Let's steal. Keep coming in. Gotta be aggressive. And Sacred Catalyst. Come on in. Come on in. That's 3 or more. This will work, but just having it on our side is fine. Oh, it does work as that, so that's cool. Let's do waste not. 5, 6. Gotta block with everything. It's the one on the block there. Yep. Cool. Got him. Interesting, interesting. Keep it going. Let's keep it going. Alright, so technically we have a 3-lander here. We've got a Bantu's early hand disruption. We're going to keep this. So let's play out Thoughtseize first. Oof. I could get out of control. Creature. It's a Planeswalker. So the first we have to take the control. Could be playing his own Thought Erasures. So we'll take the Bolus, the Thoughtseize, sure. This guy's this poor guy, man. Wish we could get a Waste Not. I mean, I really would run forward the bus. You know, not getting one in the first couple hands or the opening hand always feels bad. Oh, that hostage taker is beautiful. Or do we just destroy him now? Let's Pelika because we know we're going to take at least the Plague Crafter here. Hopefully if we draw into another land, we will be pretty. One on top, that's scary. Land, please. Let's just need this. Cards, but we will take 4 to the face. I just couldn't have it get out of control, you know. Yeah, I don't think we're interested in taking any more damage at this point. Hostage taker. Top decking with 4 lands. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. We are extremely low in life, though. Start getting removal out of his hand. That was cool, though. That was cool getting beat by a, hey man, anybody that runs a Scarab God is a friend of mine. Can't even be mad about that. Alright, let's hop into another one. That was an intense one. That was a tough one. It was very difficult to determine what to take and what not to take. Carlos. Alright, so technically we got a 3-lander here. Keep this. So we're definitely going to Yuri. Jessica. Discard a card. Throw our best to Sea Gods, nice. Going for our damage first. Play Burglar Rat. If we can get a counter out of his, any type of other removal out of his hand, it's fine. This is what we want. Okay. Could be a Dance of the Manse deck. A lot of possibilities here. Elspeth Conquers Death. Some very expensive enchantments, my friend. Mythos of Luna could be a masterpiece here. Let's go ahead and have this switch blue. Let's go for 2 damage first. Okay. Yeah, I want him to play something big, like something good, and then we can just Mythos it with... Just want him to tap out. That's what I'm looking for. I don't know if he's running counter spells. It's a possibility. Okay, so Shark Potion. Sure. Ronan is definitely not short in cards and card advantage.
I know 88 ways keep an open mind.
Let's take a peek here. Ooh, Teferi is nice. Don't mind him bouncing anything we have. Yeah. Teferi. Is there a way to get him? Get rid of the burglar.
So much commotion.
And get her out of here.
Action.
So far, no bounce targets, which is good. He dropped an Elspeth, which is good. He's got double absorb now. That's not good. So let's, of course, go in first. Okay, we do know he has a Deafening Clarion, which can clear our board. But I think I'm okay with that. Let's try and get a counter spell out of this hand. Because like I said, what I don't want him countering is what's in my hand. But if he is running counter spells, we could be. He's got 2 so far, so assuming the full play set. But he has a Yorion deck, so he has extra cards, so he could be running multiple. Probably Dovin's Edict, Okay. Thoughtseize. Do we take the Yorion? Take the Absorb. I think we take the Absorb.
Ruining your day is going to feel great.
Not really a lot of creatures, huh? What we do? At least we get rid of the Borrower.
You think too much.
That's good. Scry on the top, and that's kind of scary. Play Scarab God. Have this beautiful consign. Oh god, I love it. on land. We can plus here because we get it back anyways with graveyard.
Sorry for your
And
loss.
yeah, I mean, let's just start going face. I like it. Now he's gonna have to exile this, so the Elspeth could be back in stress. Alright. Earth Meltis is good with me. He's thinning out his deck though each time. Cool. What do we want to do here? Let's get some ping on. Apply some pressure.
I really don't care about your plans.
Let's bring back Yorion. Exile it, just in case he has some way of reanimating it with the Elspeth. Let's bounce her again.
This was a wasted
Go
opportunity.
face.
This battle is going to end on my terms.
Oh, hostage taker. Love it. Right on time.
I have no interest in fighting fair.
The walls. The walls. Alright, now I don't think he has an ability to kill my board and got him. That was a fun match though. That was a really cool match. I really enjoyed that. Well. Sorry, looks like my my client froze. Oh, here we go. Excellent, excellent. Thylath, World Sculptor. Cool. Alright, my friends, that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. Once again, if you're going to be new to the channel, please like and subscribe. It's free to you and helps us out so much. Feel free to drop me a comment, talk about strategy, deck ideas, misplays. I read the comments daily. And if you have any friends or family that are into Magic, please share the channel with them. And don't forget, if you are going to be a new follower or subscriber on either my Twitch or YouTube channels, once you've done so, just reach out to me in the chat or the comments, say something like, hey, I just followed or subscribed, and I can respond to you with an in-game code that you can use in Arena to unlock a mystery gift from Wizards. So very excited to be able to offer that. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.